Good morning, everybody. How did we do? 3 days, 0 to 10. How are we doing? Excellent, excellent, excellent. We will thank a few people at the end. We already thanked them before for the amazing work that we are doing and that we have done together. And our immediate past president reminded the board, or said to the board, the other day something very wise. And I say that often also to the staff. What people see is the outcome. What goes before that outcome is a lot of hours of work. To my colleagues at home office, please stand up, all of you that are here, and there are many more at home office. And I see them now. Here you go. And is that Mr. Matthew? Here, Mr. Matthew, I have your pin ready for you. You have it? Oh my gosh, I have arrived. Come, come. Los últimos serán los primeros. The last ones come first. Here, because we want lots of you in the front. And I was saying that the amount of work, whether it is in a panel or whether it is in policy work or whether it is in comms, when you see an article in the newspaper, what goes behind all of that, all the way to organizing it when they approach you last minute, etc., 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 is nothing short than miracle. But that's competencies, right? That's good work. That's people that know what they're doing and that have expertise. There is something else in the staff of RNAO that you cannot buy it. You can only have a good eye when you choose people and you can nurture it. And I was having coffee with Claudette and Lhamo. Lhamo is a bit too much like me in some ways. She went to bring from the room something she forgot. That would be me. That would not be Claudette. I told her that, yep, we need to be on time. That will be Claudette. Lhamo forgot the thing in the room. That would be me. In any case, I was saying to Claudette as we were having coffee and just enjoying ourselves for a few minutes, I was tearing up. I don't often do that. And it's because you, Susan, were the last drop in the cup of what happened this morning. So I was preparing the script, and not because I need the script, but because Siobhan needs to put then the slides within the script, and that's not my expertise, to do the slides, yes, but not to intersect everything. And all of a sudden I get a note from Michelle Rangel. Where is Michelle? Here you go. Everything is ready, doing the final touches. And then Siobhan says, give me so I can put the slides. And I'm like just watching all this, and they're sending me these messages, everything is ready, everything is ready. And then Susan does the final drop in the cup, which I never ask all of you, because for me it's obvious that you guys do it, right? And you said the cloud is ready to go. You don't need to ask people at RNAO, are you doing it? Is it done? Is it good? You just know it will be. And it's not only then the expertise, it's the commitment that you all, my staff, and also the assembly members and the members in general have about the work we do, with the passion, with commitment, with expertise. So thank you deeply. So welcome to this final panel, keynote panel, because it is a keynote panel, at this 99 AGM. And mark your calendar for the 100 years, because if you thought this was good, and if Lhamo was surprised with her surprise yesterday night, well, you ain't going to know what we are doing for the 100 years, Madam, did you bring that?
Yes.
Leave it there, thank you. But you can take your seat because you are part of the panel. I was saying before you came that you're a bit too much like me in younger version, and that's a problem because we need someone like Dr. Claudette Holloway that says, on time, we're starting. And we need that. And I have learned, in fact, so much for a South American person, so thank you. So mark that 100 years. It's going to be big, 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 big. We are throwing the house out of the window. That's a Chileanism. Throwing the house out of the window, it will be that big. Today, we are joined by 4 amazing panelists and plus 2 contributing speakers. Miss Sally put a name to their role. Thank you. Good. And let me tell you how this evolved. We simply wanted something different, something that will leave you even more inspired than what you are already. Energized so you're not exhausted for tomorrow. And we thought, okay, let's do a panel of impact stories and let's choose a panel. So the reasons I chose who I chose, and this is my doing, so if you have questions after, ask more, is starting with President Lhamo Dolkar, who I'm not going to introduce any of my colleagues because the intros, the bios are on the website. And the reason that she's going first is because she's the president. And it's not about her presidency that she will focus, or any of them needs to focus or will focus. That's up to them. I didn't even ask what to focus, but it's on impact stories. Could be during presidency, before presidency, president-elect, or could be from other aspects of life, could be from the life of a working nurse, or could be from your private life, any. The second star of the day is Dr. Claudette Holloway. And all I can say about Claudette is a library of wisdom, knowledge, and expertise. So I'm not going to say more. Cyril Lee, who was going to be here, and the reason we chose Cyril, and he already had done double performance with us. Susan and I do the health system transformation, and we enjoyed so much hearing him at the RN prescribing. He's the first RN prescriber, but COVID didn't save his RN prescribing, so here you go. He's with COVID, and he was so much looking forward to come with his husband, who never had seen him speaking, and this was going to be the first time was going to see him speaking. So we will need to bring him back. The next person is Melissa German. And the reason I chose Melissa German is because I saw her at NPIG, the Nurse Practitioner Interest Group. I think a year ago you presented, and I thought, oh my gosh, who is this woman? I have never heard her before. She's not any of these fancy, famous titles that people have. And she is just a treasure of nursing that everybody needs to know. And you will hear more about her. She's a Mohawk woman, an NP on Diwa Dahani, but you will save me with that, and you will say it much better. Please, please, please. Aboriginal Health Center, and much more. And much more, because she does so much incredible work that Grandma Dorothy, you are going to feel so proud, I know we do, of having a nurse amidst us that is that caliber. And so That's MP Melissa German. And then, for unique reasons that I will just say a little bit, you have this younger, even younger, because I said to Melissa, she looks pretty young to me, but the other one is even younger, Tanya Lefleur. And Tanya has a special place in the heart of Madame President, myself, and Lhamo, that was a bit involved, but Madame President is the one that pulled me into a table of an assembly. She had been talking with her and said, as she says, we need to start on time. She also said, we need to help her. What are we going to do, Doris? Take her on. And the rest is history. She graduated last week with her RN. And she has the smile of a million on top of that. And she, this woman will go places, big places. Just watch her. I said at the time that about Natalia. Natalia didn't have the challenges, but I said she will go places. You're going to go places. I know it. I know it. So just watch her, take notes. Someday you will want to meet her and say, I kind of knew her. Yeah. Like I say about Natalia, she said I was her mentor. I don't think I'm a mentor anymore. Maybe she will mentor me. She already is mentoring us, this Lady Tanya. So they will present stories of impact. But then we thought with Michelle, who was my right hand on this, Michelle Rangel, that's good, but you need to spice it up. Just a touch of surprise. So then I said to Michelle, let's send an email to all members, inviting them to send stories, and let's see what happens. Stories from the field. So we wrote a little bit of a blurb, and then Marianne and Tim did a bit of more magic, and then we changed back because the intent maybe changed a bit, so then it went out. This is the works of RNAO. And then what happened is, I didn't forget about it. I forgot to tell Michelle, send a reminder, which normally I would do. So like 4 days before, or 5 days before the AGM, we're doing a debriefing at the office, and I go, wow, did we get any stories? And she's very humble, Miss Michelle Rangel says, yeah, quite a few. What's quite a few? Like 4, 5, like 6? Because in my head was how I'm going to choose the 3, because we were going to choose 3. She said, no, I think 28 or 30. I go, oh, okay, I need a panel of someone that will select them, because I ain't going to select them. So we asked Michelle Ray. I don't know if Michelle Ray is here. Here you go. And Miss Matt Calway. Matt?
He's over here.
Oh, here you go. And one more person, to select stories. Why? Because Wanya is newer, she's not a nurse. Let's see what she chooses from an end perspective. Michelle comes from the IABPG, and Matt from policy. Between the 3 of us, they are going to do something that will be interesting for us, right? So they chose 3. In fact, they chose 5, but I took the 3 top ones. And we are going to use all the rest, because I think now we have way more than 30. We are going to choose others. It will move to Marian's shop, to either for the In the Loop or the journal, the other stories, or in the website. Matt will use some in the RN Career Pathways. It will all be put to good use, and so nothing has been lost. So you are going to hear from the 5 panelists first, then you will hear from the contributing speakers, as Sally calls the contributing speakers, and then after that we are going to open it to you, either to ask questions, to ask more, to give your own stories, anything you want. 2 minutes, no more, each person, right? 1 to 2 minutes amongst you. And then we're going to do a cloud, which Susan prepared for us. And then we're going to have the treat of the end of the AGM with Grandmother Dorothy, who I said to her, and I always do, has a tremendous way of giving peace to people, you know, peace all the time. If you ever need, and you are next to her, because if not, she needs to send it virtual, but to get a hug from Grandmother Dorothy is like pure peace in your heart. That's the way I feel. So you will do your beautiful sent away in a good way for us, Grandmother Dorothy. So let's get going with, and of course, I didn't mention the names of the 3 stories that our colleagues chose. So Nevina Bakit, she will present an NP by video. She couldn't come, and that was totally okay. RN Fatima Raza will present here. Where are we? There, thank you. And RN, practicing Karen, 81, I can say because she shared it with me. Full practicing Karen. And is your husband here? No. How is that possible?
He had other things to do.
More important than seeing his wife present.
I need to be here on my own.
I think that he will need to come another time again then. Okay. So RN midwife and grief counselor, Sally Hammond, she also will present, and they are the contributing speakers that our colleagues chose. So first, Madame Lhamo, NP Lhamo, as we call her, president of RNAO, no more president-elect. I leave you the podium, and you have 5 to 7 minutes. It's yours.
So thank you. Good morning, everyone. One lesson. I'm learning a lesson every day. Not to wear a short skirt when you're sitting right in the front where there's no table. But having said that, I know we are a family, and you will forgive any show-off leg that you will see. Sorry about that. So I'm nurse practitioner Lhamo Dolkar. I really want to share why I think is important to emphasize on the social determinants of health. Whether it is locally, whether it is provincially, nationally, internationally, because I want to share a story of mine. And I think we are in a safe space where we can share personal stories. My dad passed away when I was 17 because of colon cancer. But that was not diagnosed because it was diagnosed at autopsy. And he did have some symptoms, but he never had the chance to access preventive health screening, nor did he have the chance to seek medical care. And he didn't have a chance because he was busy making a living trying to send his 3 daughters to school. And that is what has impacted me, because my father wanted to send me to a medical school so that other people could get access to primary care. Having said that, I think as individuals, we all grow with our life experiences. It is how you twine, how you use those life experiences as opportunities to grow personally as well as grow together. Now, when Doris said, you have to go with the flow, I think personal stories, like the storytelling, like we have in the indigenous ways, are great ways of empowering each other, learning from our failures collectively, and also grow. Because no one is perfect. I've always said there's perfection in imperfection. And this is where we will all grow together. That is just one aspect. Because education was meant to be an escape, I guess, for us to move on to the next class. So that's classism. So I identify myself with Tibetan heritage, but I was born in India because my parents escaped colonization or invasion of the land of Tibet. And where I grew up, it was always warm. I was connected with the land that I was on, but I was always the other, as I identified in one of the nursing students' panel. And that feeling of other, the identity conflict, I would say, was something that made me realize that it is really important to give others a platform to share. And I've never felt so great about being in Canada because I feel that this is where I was welcomed again into the culture. But I also feel that we have to acknowledge the land. The issues of Indigenous health was again an eye-opener for me because I felt the problems are still the same. People are still deprived. And we are talking about a developed country. A country that is part of G7, a country that is making global strides. But we really need to do a lot of work at home too. Whether it is Indigenous health, whether it is racism, whether it is equity, whether it is inclusiveness, and that's where I feel that we all make an impact. We need to continue to speak, because when we speak, that's how we will get issues across. That's why we need to be engaged. RNAO is the platform where we can all do it together. And I know that AGMs after AGMs will bring resolutions and issues that we can move forward. We have to move forward together. There's no way out of it. Thank you.
So now we have Madame Immediate Past President. I need to get used to it. Immediate past. Getting used to say the word president is easy. Get used to say the word immediate past president is awfully difficult. I still call, where is Angelita? Here. I still call her my president. Like she's I don't know how many times ago. But you guys always will stay as my president. So come, please, join us.
I have a microphone.
Oh, you have a microphone.
Yes.
Very good.
I'll leave the podium for Lhamo now. So good morning, everyone. Claudette Holloway, your immediate past president. And being asked to tell impact stories is not an easy thing, particularly when you've been in the profession as long as I have, because you have to go back a long, long way. But I think the word impact made the difference for me. And as a black woman, through the years, I would say that being black has had a significant impact on me. I remember as a child, my father telling me that, now look here, young lady, you're going to be treated different. So you need to get yourself an education. That was the first thing that he laid down. But he also said to me, do not paint everybody with the same brush, because you will find people that will be able to help you. And I found that important, and it traveled through my career. So over the years, I've strived to raise the family, continue with the profession. But there were times when you could see that no matter what you did, you couldn't get to where you wanted. And it could never be explained. So my course was always to do the best I could where I was. So I might not have been in a leadership position, but from wherever I was, I chose to be a leader. And that's a message to all of us. You don't have to be always in front of the platform. You can lead from where you are, because you never know when you're going to be called to the platform. So late in my career, I had the opportunity to be called to the platform, and also in my job, very late in my career, after numerous tries for various things and you can't get ahead, at least I was prepared. So nobody is going to put anything in your lap, as my mother said. You're going to have to work for it. But regardless of how hard you work, because of your color, there's going to be some difficulties. So I was able to keep that at the back of the mind, but not let that stop me. And I try to impart the same things to my children. Do not paint people with the same brush. Give them a chance. See what they're going to do. Because that's what I've always wanted for people to do for me. Not just to look at me and say, oh, because she looks like that, you know. Even when it happens all through the career. I don't want to go on about it, but even when I was elected as the president-elect, and I was sharing with someone that's quite high up in our profession, and that person said, what do you mean you got elected as you're the president-elect? Really? Like, what does that say to me? You know, it's so doubtful. I said, yes. And it's from RNAO. And that's a respectable organization, a trusted organization. They elected you? I said, yes. So, you know, you have to learn to deal with these things, because sometimes it's a moment of teaching for people. And that's another load that we take with us. Not only are we trying to move ourselves forward, we're trying to teach people, because people will say, well, I'm not racist. And you may not know. There's a theory called the Johari window, right? If some of you may know it, some of you may not, but if you don't, look it up when you go home. Because there's something about the Johari window that you need someone to tell you what's at the back of your head, right? You know that you have a mirror, you can see this is what's happening, but I don't know what's happening at the back of my head. For all of us, we need to have that input. So if I say to you, or if somebody says to you, well, you know, that sounded racist, you know, it's like you need to learn. So you need to not take these things personally, but if we're really committed to anti-black racism, anti-indigenous, anti-Asian, all forms of sexual discrimination, we have to really take stock of ourselves. And it can be very uncomfortable. And for us who look like me, there are times when we have to forgive, but we're not going to forget. So the other thing is, there's other things that are put on us. When you see us gather, hey, you know, we have these sayings, you know, hi girl, how's it going, you know? People have said, what are they plotting now? No, they're not plotting anything. They're just getting together. So give us the freedom to come together. Do not distrust us. We're here for the best. What is more disturbing to me that over the decades, and I think this is probably my 5th decade in the profession, but what is disturbing to me that I hear stories all the time, even as recently as 2 days ago, from people who look like me in the workplace that are saying, you know, I had all the qualifications. I put it in, and yeah, I didn't even screen in. How could that be, right? So you're stuck because you can't even say anything because you're afraid that it's going to impact something else that's going to happen to you, right? So you have to find a way. So that's why RNAO is good, because we have a task force. Thank you, Dr. Angela, for your leadership there. Dania, we have a task force. We have 22 recommendations. We've got students that are being impacted. We are affecting people's lives, and it's their mental health that is being affected. And let me tell you, you know what devastation that could cause, generation after generation. So I am just glad for people who are allies, not people who say they're allies, people who are allies because I've identified that they're allies. Dr. Doris Grinspun, thank you. RNAO on your staff, thank you. All of you that have seen me for the person that I am, that you're seeing all of us, our individuality, thank you, because you know what? We have a lot to offer. We're here to contribute. We're not here to take away. So as we heard from our president, you know, we're all human beings. We all want to have the best for our families and ourselves. We are made of flesh and blood. If you strip away this color, underneath I've got veins. I've got feelings. I get hurt. So be with us. Be an ally. Be a true ally. And be open to the feedback that we give that says, you know what, something has got to change. Thank you.
That's okay. This is good. Thank you. The speeches from both of you are incredible. It's so inspiring. I feel so honored to be sitting next to both of you strong women. So hi, my name is Melissa Gurman. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I work at Dejawaty Desnes Aboriginal Health Center, close, as clinical lead on a mobile health clinic. That means that we are a strong but mighty team of two, and we go into the community and serve the very vulnerable population of Indigenous homeless. We quite literally remove the barriers of fear that exists for so many people on the streets and in encampments to seek care in mainstream organizations. We aim to meet folks where they are at in a non-judgmental and caring way. We practice the principles of harm reduction, and we ensure that health needs that are a priority to our people are heard. So much of what we do is about fostering the therapeutic relationship. My goal is to show patients that healthcare doesn't need to be scary, that we are allies, that we are there for them, and that we care for them. There is literally no bigger compliment to me than when a patient will actually make an appointment in the brick and mortar clinic to take care of themselves because they trust me. In my opinion, we are special and unique because we try to be a true embodiment of the marriage between Western and traditional Indigenous medicine. As a nurse practitioner, I practice primary care. I like to say a little bit of chaos thrown in. I literally see everything from addiction medicine, mental health, right through to obstetrics, traumatic injuries, gunshots, you name it. And my partner works in the realm of traditional healing and cultural wellness. So to best understand this, I usually use the example of someone coming to us with complex PTSD. I can sit and diagnose them and talk to them about their symptoms and pharmaceutical options, but sometimes it's even more beneficial for them to then meet with my partner, who takes over as a 60 scoop survivor. She speaks to their therapeutic intergenerational trauma that has had a hand in bringing them to this reality of being on the streets and relying on the addictions that they might be living under. She connects them to traditional medicines and Indigenous knowledge, elders, knowledge keepers. We smudge with them, and we, sorry, I'm nervous. We help them, reconnect. Last summer, we also had the privilege to be present for a couple northern evacuations. Nothing in my career has been more impactful than being present for these people. It is also one of the only times that I have been embarrassed to be a Canadian. The ailments that these people would come to me was very similar to when I volunteered in a third world country. there's so much reconciliation that needs to be done, and I think that so often we forget the privilege that we have here with access to things like hospitals and doctors and, you know, groceries that don't cost you your whole entire paycheck. And unfortunately, that's just the deep trauma and scars from colonization and stereotypes that still exist within the government and broader scale hospitals, organizations, etc. On a personal note, I grew up always knowing I myself was Indigenous. If I'm being honest, I truly didn't know what it meant outside of what I had heard from general opinion in public, which wasn't always positive. My grandmother was a residential school survivor herself, and she never told us anything other than there was just so much crying. So she married a white man, left the reserve, and we never went back. And unfortunately, when she passed away, all of her traditional knowledge, ceremonies, whatever she had in her heart died with her. So having the opportunity to work at the Aboriginal Health Center helped heal something inside of me that I didn't even know what was broken. And this is what we're bringing with our real lived experiences to the van to help people also make that reconnection. And it is such a privilege and honor to see what motivation that reconnection and just general sense of belonging and knowing that someone cares can really do for a patient and a person. So in conclusion, my leadership impact is slightly different than some of these very brilliant and inspiring women, or maybe not so much, so I'm learning. But all I am doing is taking that little flame of passion that has burned within me, and I am taking it to the community and to our people and helping, you know, foster some change and show people that we are still here. As Indigenous people, we are resilient and we will continue to be here.
Hello, hi. Good morning, welcome. My name is Tanya LaFleur. I am a recent post-RPN to RN grad, as you guys already know. Recently graduated, so I'm very excited about that. And I'm so thankful to, first of all, I'm so thankful that for the RNAO to even see something in me that to be sitting here with some interesting panel members, so I'm very thankful for that. Again, my name is Tanya LaFleur, recent grad, and I just wanted to touch base quickly on the importance and impact of leadership, of mentorship. As Dr. Holloway was explaining about how we grow taller on the backs of others, and I just want to touch base from the mentorship perspective, from a student perspective. I was able to, long story short, be under the mentorship of Dr. Holloway, Dr. Grinspun, and Lhamo after meeting with them last year at the Board of Directors placement. I thought I wouldn't cry. I did this already. But the impact of their mentorship allowed me to influence my own way of leadership impact. And I think my leadership impact is through more so influence rather than authority. And I say that because after meeting with Dr. Holloway and telling her my grievances about school, it just set things in motion. I was able to have Lhamo, Dr. Grinspun, and Dr. Holloway on literally a WhatsApp group helping to mentor me and support me through a very struggling time through my last placement. I was also able to get supported by my NSO team back there. They also helped. And it's important to have people who, one, look like you. Representation is important. And it's important for me because I didn't have that. And so to have these lovely ladies just encourage me, speak life into me, it was so important. It was so empowering when I wanted to just give up. They were able to say, you know, Tanya, these things happen, but you're gonna push through, keep pushing through. So it's important, if you're not a mentor already, think about it because it's important, especially to, you don't have to be the younger generation, but if you're becoming a new nurse, it's important. It's important so we can hear your stories and we can hear the impacts that you have, because they will influence us. And again, without the support of these lovely ladies, the RNAO, NSO, I wouldn't be able to have had the opportunity to be part of the NSO committee as a membership, a committee member. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to host with two other nursing leaders, Rebecca and Elaine. Last year I was asked to host and represent the nursing students for the AGM. And then now I'm sitting here with these interesting panelists, right? All because of their encouragement. So if you're not a mentor, become a mentor. And it doesn't have to be a title. It can be an inherent position that you have between you and another student. And again, I'm very thankful and humbled to be here. And once again, if you haven't, or you're not sure where your leadership is, or if you're not sure what leadership looks like, it starts small, like Dr. Holloway said. I'm a believer in that small hinges swing big doors. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do that.
Okay, we are going to listen now to Nevina. NP.
Hello, my name is Niveen Beckett. I am a nurse practitioner and I'm extremely proud to be with you today. Since I was a small kid, my dream has been to work in the medical field to help people and alleviate their suffering. I came to Canada in 2011 as an international medical graduate under the Federal Skilled Worker Immigration Program. For 20 years, I worked as a physician in my home country, Egypt, and the Gulf, earning a master's degree in forensic medicine and family medicine. Upon my arrival, I began the process of preparing the medical license exam, and during this journey, I realized the challenges of securing a job as an international medical graduate despite fulfilling all the requirements. I began to explore unconventional pathway and it changed my career. To be honest, this was not an easy decision, and I received minimal support from my family and friends. However, I trusted my intuition and couldn't find anything better than nursing to start my new journey and fulfill my life mission. In 2015, I enrolled in the UNB Hamburg College second entry nursing program and graduated with a bachelor degree in nursing in January 2018. I secured a job as a registered nurse at Oakville Trafalgar Memorial Hospital, GI Flow, in February 2018. Meanwhile, I also worked part-time in the community as a visiting nurse to get both hospital and community experiences. And I also worked as a sexual assault domestic violence nurse examiner with Australian Health Partner for about a year in a casual position. In 2019, I joined the Family Nurse Practitioner Program at DuVille University in Buffalo, New York, and earned my Family Nurse Practitioner Master degree in May 2021. I joined the Family Health team as a Family Nurse Practitioner in St. Catherine in 2021 for about 2 years. And currently I work in 2 senior nursing homes in St. Catherine, and recently I completed a comprehensive advanced palliative care education capacity program with Hospice Niagara. I am incredibly proud to be part of a profession that values knowledge, resilience, and compassion. I get the privilege of having a significant influence of people's lives and the community on a daily basis. Being able to bring comfort, ease suffering, and encourage healing is a great honor as well as a responsibility. Being a nurse and a nurse practitioner is not just a job, it's a calling, and I am deeply proud to answer it. If I were to choose a career 100 times, I would make the same decision and choose nursing every time. Thank you.
Excellent, beautiful, good choice for the panel that selected you. And now Fatima, please. You have a mic? Thank you, thank you.
Hello?
This one maybe.
Hello? Oh, it's working now. Hi, I'm Fatima. I work in pediatrics. I'm just super honored to be here. Like, I'm so glad I was chosen for this. Like, I didn't even think I was gonna be chosen. Like, I know one of the options was like, oh, you could be posted on the website, and I thought, oh, like that's what I'm aiming for. Like, I didn't even think I would be chosen to like come here and speak. But I'm so honored to be among these amazing women. So for my story, I want to share like a kind of like an experience I had during my final consolidation, which was just like in December. I still think about this experience every day, and it's just about the importance of providing the best care we can, no matter like what race or where your patient is from. So during one of my last shifts in an adult medical ward during my final consolidation, I took care of a patient, an older lady who was reported to be experiencing an altered LOC and delirium for the past couple of days. And when I went into her room and began my assessment, she was not receptive to any of my questions. She would just smile at me and go back to playing with her hands or looking out the window. So this didn't seem unexpected or off from the handover I had received earlier. But I recognized her name though, as people from my cultural background, which is Pakistani, have similar sounding names. So I began to conduct her assessment in Urdu. Luckily, she was from Pakistan, and it turned out she was very well aware of her condition and why she was there. And she had been oriented times 4 for the last few days. Like, she was able to tell me how she came into the ER, how she'd gotten sick due to conditions with her liver, and how when she gets sick, she knows her mental state is altered, but that after a few days, she's able to recall what she went through. So the team had just assumed that this patient was someone who was still delirious, but she just didn't speak English. I remember giving her a shower and washing her hair. To my surprise, she wouldn't stop thanking me for the simple act. She gave me many blessings and wishes for me to have a good future, to be successful in my career and get everything I want in life, even a nice husband one day. All because I washed her hair and spent some time talking to her in a language she understood. Although today I'm a novice nurse in a pediatric setting, I still think about this encounter and the importance of practicing cultural sensitivity in the nursing profession. It helps build trusting relationships with clients, promotes open communication, and allows for us to provide empathetic care. Therefore, even if you don't speak your patient's language, it's still essential to utilize all the resources available to provide the best care we can to patients of all different backgrounds. Thank you.
And we have our final panelist.
Thank you, Dr. Grinspun and President of RNAO and members. Sorry, you can hear me. And I've had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Claudette Holloway. It's been an incredible experience to be with you. I came last night, I attended, very kindly invited to the banquet, met some wonderful people. I was totally in awe of all the careers and different jobs that people do. and their achievements. In fact, what I'm going to share with you is quite humble, but anyhow, thank you for having me. And as Dr. Grinspun mentioned, I will be 80 next week, but I'm not planning to carry on 81 and 82. I think I'll retire in 2025. But again, thank you. It's an honor to be with you today, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So I thought
To add that I heard
the
from a little bird from Morganover that you also attend meetings of the chapter.
okay.
Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, I'll just carry on quickly. So I thought I would just to share a quote with you, and as nurses, we can relate to this. Sometimes we need to be reminded, but too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest accomplishment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn life around. And as Fatima said when she was assisting that patient, how much that person appreciated her kindness and her care. Forgive me again with my paper. So I'll just continue. My name is Sally Hammond. I'm still a practicing RN, and my career as a registered nurse, registered midwife, began 56 years ago. I now am at the age of 62. I decided, and I have been an RN in Ontario for 44 years. We emigrated to Canada in 1974. I was born in India. I've lived in Australia. I've lived in Africa and in England, in Texas, and here in Canada, thankfully, for the last 50 years. So I feel very Canadianized. But anyhow, my career, a registered nurse and a registered midwife, wonderful careers. I loved both of them. But when I was 62 and we live in London, Ontario, had been working 12-hour shifts for 23 years for London Health Sciences, and the last unit had been psychiatry. But I decided 12-hour shifts were beginning to kill me. So I had decided prior to that, when I was in my 50s, to go back to university, do my degree in grief and bereavement studies, major thanatology, and carry on with the post-degree certificate to become a grief counsellor. And that has been an excellent career for me, and I have never regretted that change at all. I joined RNAO in 2007 as I needed the benefits of liability insurance, credibility, and a distinguished professional association in order to practice as a grief counsellor and to work in a funeral home, because, and so I was really very glad to be able to do that. RNA also contributed to one of my university credits to become a grief counsellor. Thank you, RNAO. I have enjoyed 14 years in a different realm of nursing and assisted many clients with grief counselling. And grief counselling is a fulfilling career for a nurse because we have the clinical skills and we understand when people tell us their tragic stories and of their loss and grief, and also their health issues of their families or of their own. We understand probably more easily than social workers or other counsellors because we have worked in those areas. And to tell you the truth, as nurses, death and dying is not something that we are not aware of. We've all been aware of that in our nursing careers. I would like to just there are many opportunities for certified grief counsellors with funeral homes, grief and bereavement support groups, schools, universities, colleges, in the industry, counselling, as well as in private practice. And I would recommend it. It's a wonderful career. I was just thinking of one story in particularly, and I have counselled many clients. And sometimes you have to advocate for your clients, as we all do as nurses. This particular person, this particular woman that I had extreme hearing difficulties. She wore hearing aids and everything. She had been compromised as a child, as an infant. Her mother had germinal measles when she was pregnant. This little girl, one of 10 siblings in a family, struggled throughout her life. She lived in Nova Scotia. There were not many resources available. She struggled. She lip read. She learned from her siblings, and she moved to Ontario. So at the end of our sessions, she was grieving the loss of a member of her family. She was telling me about her hearing loss. She was in her 60s, early 60s. So I said to her, why don't you apply to the hearing loss program at University Hospital? Maybe that you could be assessed and perhaps you would receive some more care. She said, Sally, the trouble is I can't afford it, and I know you have to pay for extra coverage. I said, I know there's funding available, so why don't you put your name down, at least try, see. So she called me back about a month later. She said, you won't believe it. I'm getting a cochlear transplant in a month. I'll be able to hear. So I thought, wow, she did that all on her own, and so hopefully her life has opened up for her, and she will be able to continue to enjoy. She said, I'll be able to hear music again, and I'll hear all sorts of things again. I'll be so pleased. So you have to advocate. Sometimes we've all had to do that. Anyhow, thank you again. In conclusion, thank you for having me today. It's been a wonderful experience. Thank you.
So let's do a round of applause, standing ovation to our amazing speakers before we move to the next. And I will say a few words, but I will not say them now because I don't want to put words in your mouth. So before I say anything, I'm going to actually ask Susan to take the mic and walk us, or to come here, or to take a mic, whichever, and come here and, here you go, Susan, walk us through the cloud, please. Thank you.
Okay, many of you have probably done this, so please get out your phones if you have phones, and if you go on to your camera and you can capture, I'll get out of the way, and panelists are welcome to participate in this as well, if they like. So you capture that QR code on the right hand of the screen, and it should prompt you to a screen that asks you the question, having heard all of these colleagues, what is leadership for you in one word? So can I just get some nods that people are able to access this? Yes? Okay, great. We're just getting it up on the screen. Okay. Lots and lots of great words here, and we'll take a screenshot of this as well. Shall I read some of them? Advocacy is showing up as a big theme. Passion, compassion, kindness, courage, mentorship, care, resilience, collaboration, humility, bravery, strength, impact, service, journey, and I'd like to add ally. I don't have my phone up, but.
And I'm going to add a word about each one of the speakers. Thank you. If I can summarize the message of NP Lhamo Dolkar, our president, will be keep going for justice. If I can summarize Dr. Claudette Holloway, not only today, but always, keep going. Keep going, things will not land for you. Keep going. If I can summarize, Melissa, I think you were the first after. I would say trust and leave your judgment out the door. Just trust, develop the trust and be open to help others. Thank you, Melissa, for what you do. And if I can summarize, Tanya, who probably for good reasons told you 5% of the story that she has. So I'm going to tell you what she said, but I'm going to tell you what I think. Mentorship, that's what she said. And I would say about her courage, and she didn't speak about that piece, and she has it in loads. And if I can say a word about Naveen, my gosh, I wish she was here. I would have hugged her. I was in Egypt. I was in the first group of people from Israel that went to Egypt. I was very fortunate after the signing of the peace agreement. And my gosh, what a country. What an experience. And I would be laughing and probably crying with her. And I can relate to what she said, and Lhamo, you too, to her career and changes she made and why. And I am going to make sure we meet her. Discovery, I would say about her. Discovery, silver lining of life. When something happens, when one door closes, what's the silver lining for the other? I would say to Fatima, and Fatima, after let's talk for a minute, I have a similar experience in a different language. I would say be attuned to that patient. Don't just go with the flow of whatever whoever told you. Be attuned, be in sync, be engaged, and you will go to the right place. And to Miss Sally, RN Sally Hammond, wisdom, life wisdom, expertise, never give up, and I would say many, many more decades of contributions for you, RN Sally, and we are so pleased that you are here. I would like to give the podium for a minute back to our president to welcome our exceptional grandmother, Dorothy, and we will not do the bio because we did the bio. That's off in a good way, but we're not leaving here.
Thank you. What an exceptional group of leaders we've had, and also to keep a note that the face of leadership is changing. So look at the speakers across, and representation is very key at leadership tables. Thank you to our CEO, Dr. Doris Grinspun, for envisioning and moderating this striking keynote panel this morning. I also want to thank her again, Dr. Grinspun, and her amazing RNAO team for the organization of this fabulous, incredible undertaking, RNAO's 99th Annual General Meeting. And finally, I want to reiterate my thanks to Dr. Claudette Holloway, immediate past president, for her leadership, mentorship, and support. I now call on Grandmother Dorothy Peters to join me at the podium. Grandmother Peters did an inspiring Indigenous opening yesterday morning, and now we are privileged to have her do an Indigenous closing.
So bonjour everyone, good morning, good afternoon. I'm happy to be back to come and do your closing, and it was really wonderful to hear the personal stories because that's how we get to learn about one another is when we can speak our truth and tell our personal stories, because that takes courage to do that. And once you can use your courage, then you can use your courage in other ways besides just being able to say something. And so I was happy I came early and to be able to listen to these wonderful women going through their life journey. And it's
Before I let our president close, I want to tell all of you a thank you. I'm not going to repeat the name of all the staff that are here, each single department head and everybody else. A big time thank you. And we will tell at the next staff meeting. But I do want to call a couple of people, 3 in particular. Siobhan, please come. Siobhan Cordell put this together with Lorraine, and I don't know where is Lorraine Nichols. She always is working somewhere. I need her here. If someone can call her, please. Thank you. Siobhan, thank you. In a big way for the way you are, being kind, being generous, being attentive. Thank you. And meanwhile that we wait for Lorraine Nichols somewhere, she's coming. Okay, and the third one that I will ask to come is Michelle Rangel, please. And if you can help me with that orchid, thank you. And okay, first Lorraine, because it will take her a bit longer to come for good reasons. Please come. Lorraine, you're always with that smile. Always with that smile. If someone has a day that needs a smile, that's the person to go. Always ready to respond. Always never gets frazzled, never nothing is enough for you. And you keep going, and thank you. Thank you for making the AGM amazing. And last but not least, as I call her, my Michelle, but the other is also my Michelle. All my directors are, no one can take them. But both, because she gets 2, you see, for good reasons. So she wanted an orchid, she gets an orchid, she's like me, I like orchids. And you get one also for Babyito.
Thank you, Doris.
You know, to have a Michelle Rangel in your life, I don't know. I told her she needs to meet come Josephine. I don't know how many of you met Josephine, but they remind me one of another, and one day they will meet. They have met in emails. It's like calmness all the time, kindness all the time, detail orientation. Really, just an amazing person to work with. Thank you. So Shannon, who is not here and who prepared for those of you that went to the soiree in my room, always we do with staff and board after the big Friday event, you think that we are done. Now we go and we have fun and laugh and well, Ricardo was supposed to help. My husband, he's a jack of all trades, does everything. Yesterday did photography and he cut my hair also, not bad. It's true. But he was supposed to help Shannon. By the time he went to the room, everything was put together. That's Shannon. Another person that you speak with her, and calmness and kindness and generosity, right? And Shannon, she invented the name for our WhatsApp chat. So this is Shannon and Siobhan and Michelle and myself, and she called us the maestros. Maestros means, you know, it's like it's a maestro, it's in the music. So we are the maestros, and we have laughter there, and we also get things done. So thank you to all of you and to everybody that is here today, and those that are watching, because this is being streamlined, right? Yes? Marianne? This was streamlined, the panel? Here you go. So I don't know how many came, but I do know that yesterday many were watching, because I got a lot of WhatsApps from different parts of the world. So we are going to give it back to our president to close and to make sure that everybody comes back with many, many more people next year.
Thank you, Grandmother Peters. We value that you have accompanied us through our annual general meeting. I guess we all need a little bit of spiritual cleansing as well at all phases of lives. I also want to thank the over 200 participants at today's closing panel for energy, wisdom, and insightful questions. This concludes RNAO's 99th annual general meeting and the associate events which took place. We very much look forward to greeting all of you again at our AGM next year, taking place on June 12th to 14, 2025, to celebrate RNAO's 100th anniversary. It's gonna be big and grand. Mark your calendars now. We want to see you all again, and it will be at this hotel. Please have a safe trip home, everyone, and once again, thank you all for your presence here over the past few days. Thank you all for your dedication and commitment to RNAO, to our awesome nursing profession, and to the health and healthcare of all Ontarians. Next year is going to be 100, so we have to be here. Farewell until RNAO's 100th anniversary in a year from now. Miigwech.